Sorry about that, folks, but welcome to CrossGen Talk with me, your host, Yasahaya.
And hello, I'm your co-host. Thank you.
Okay, so we're trying something new out today. We've gone live. If, if it doesn't work out, blame him. Okay, so what are we discussing today?
So today we're gonna be discussing global and economic downturn causes and consequences.
So, as you guys know, what's currently been happening, we're here to discuss current events, aren't we? So, Donald Trump, the current president of America, has been going on a tariff war with Xi Jinping of China, and we're just here to sort of have a bit of a chat about that. Now, neither of us are economic experts, nor are we tariff experts, but we thought we'd give our take on it, given that I'm a millennial.
And I'm a Gen Z.
Okay, so roughly, what do you think is going on with these tariffs?
I think, well, I never heard China was doing it at first. Like when it started happening, I only knew America was doing them, and with
When you hear
Canada,
tariff, right? What does that say to you? What is a tariff?
at first I didn't know what it was, but my teacher explained it to me. It's basically like a tax on something like a product.
Yeah. So something comes in from, say, China, a product, right? America charges them tax on that product. That's what a tariff is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back and forth, what's been happening is Donald Trump has been increasing the percentage of tariffs. Currently, it's an astonishing 245% tariff tax on. No, do 5 minutes. Currently, it's an astonishing 245% tax on all Chinese goods. Now, I don't know how somebody. Sorry, there's teething issues. Clearly, I've tried to communicate as best as I can. Clearly, somebody doesn't listen. Right. So anyway, um, what's happened is rare. So if you think about it, China is, from my understanding, the biggest producer in the world. America is the biggest consumer of the world. So these two are warring with one another over their product, right? So what China said was, we're not going to increase. What they did initially was their maximum was 125%. America's hit back with 245%. But China's also said, we're going to stop giving you rare earth materials or
Minerals.
rare earth. Sorry, thank you. Rare earth minerals. Thank you. That's why I need a co-host. Rare earth minerals, and excuse me, I'm very ill. So, if you think about it, there's been a struggle. Now, also, if you think about it, Boeing, China said no more Boeing in our country.
Aeroplanes, yeah.
So, how big is Boeing? I don't mean size-wise.
Massive.
It's a it's a global company.
Especially, the one of the biggest models, Boeing 747, is actually been discontinued.
But Boeing as a company, they are massive, right? China said no more Boeing. So if you think about it, all of these things are being slashed by China. The biggest producer versus the biggest consumer. Now, I want to ask you, what is a recession? Or what do you know about what a recession is?
I don't have a full understanding of it, but I think a recession is like a full-on economic downturn.
Mm-hmm.
So everything, well, not everything, but a lot of things were expensive, and it becomes a real struggle for.
I'm not testing him, by the way. I'm just having a conversation.
It becomes a real struggle for government, and yeah,
people stop buying, people stop selling, and then the trade markets. Obviously, like I said, I'm not an economic expert myself, but the trade market just goes downhill. In my birth year, 1987, there was this thing called Black Monday. which happened in October sometime 1987, and that was like an economic crash. Now, what Trump's doing with this Xi Jinping dude is that they are creating something far worse than Black Monday. We've not hit a recession yet, but all the symptoms of a recession are beginning to boil up to the top. So should we have a look at some of the symptoms?
Yeah.
What's the symptom of recession?
So like effects.
Yeah, what is the symptom? Yeah.
Also, trade disruptions, high inflation, rate hikes, consumer worries, and market instability.
Okay. So what does all that mean in terms of people like me and you?
So trade disruptions, trade between countries, it can cause global conflicts and strained supply chains.
Now, if you think about it, global conflict isn't just within trade, it could actually mean war. So let's just say oil prices go to an all-time high. What's stopping America saying, okay, from now on, we're not paying any tariffs on any of your products? And then those two countries could actually go to war. There's a potential for that. I'm not saying that they will, but economic downturns can create really volatile situations on a world scale.
High inflation, so that means rising costs have reduced like purchasing power.
So people like me and you, can I be serious with you? Just on one thing I really want to talk about, and that's medicine. Now, if you think about it, the biggest producer in the world versus the biggest consumer in the world, what's going to happen to all the medicine?
Well, it's just going to go dead expensive.
Mm.
Or
But what does that mean for like people like me and you? We're average Joes, by the way. So
like if we get ill or something, then the chances of us getting
not getting our medicine.
well, if the chances of us getting better are gonna be, I'm not some analytics expert, but I would say like less than 50%.
So here's the thing, right? If we can't get our medicine on time, then what's going to happen to our health?
Goes down.
What if we can't afford our medicine? Even if we get access to it,
It could decrease human population by a lot.
This is so. These are all severe concerns that we have in terms of what's going on with the tariffs, what's going on with trade. Everything happens for a reason. Now you can't. It's cause and effect, isn't it? So if people like Trump and Xi Jinping go to war via trade, they attack the market, it all funnels down to the societal level. People like me and you, what a loaf of bread that might have cost 45p could cost £6. Imagine now, I've actually lived through a recession before, and it actually happened when America went to war with Iraq. You know, when the Iraq invasion. So that shortly thereafter, there was a massive economic downturn. We were in a recession. People still got jobs, but it was very hard to get a job. So, where do you think this is going to go? Like in terms of where it is right now?
I think it's just going to be the like how bad, in your opinion, was the recession that you lived through?
That's a good question. I must have been 18, 19. I'm 38. Well, I'm almost 38 now. So how long ago was that? My maths is terrible. Okay, so anyway, jobs were hard to get. The prices didn't skyrocket, but then I didn't really have much visibility of what I have now. Now I would say we're in the eye of the storm. We don't know how bad it is yet. It's not even hit yet, but when it hits, we're going to struggle. And the most severe concern I have is transport, logistics, and medicine. Those three will be killers. So, how are we doing on
time? 9 minutes.
Okay.
I also want to say thank you to Unforeseen, who has said Fredo scored by another 10p.
Listen, what's his name?
Unforeseen.
Unforeseen, right? Freddos, they used to be cost 5p. Now, people think I'm making a joke about this. It's not. If you filter down to the lowest levels, right, it's the little guy that suffers the most. So it's the average civilian, the average citizen who pays the most. Because we're not millionaires. Trump, Xi Jinping, they're millionaires. Their friends are all millionaires. Trump's always saying, "Oh, you made a billion net yesterday. You made 10 million yesterday." But what about the average person who works their 9 to 5? What about them? And what I think this individual is alluding to, the cost of basic things has just inflated to a point of no return. So yeah, he might have jokingly said Freddos, but that doesn't matter. If we went from 5p to 50p, what percentage? Now I'm not an economic expert, but what percentage increase is 5p to 50p? I'm not asking. I'm just saying, right?
100%.
So yeah. What else should we? Are we done? Should we sign off?
I mean, we can do a bit more
Go on.
with
Then.
other effects of recession. So,
Well, we'll do one more.
So reduced spending, which means consumers tighten budgets, slowing economic activity. Market decline, stock values drop as investor confidence weakens. Higher debt, borrowing increases as people struggle financially. And I also want to say on that, America has, I think, it's about 28 trillion in debt.
It's more than that.
It's probably a lot more. Business closures, so small companies face difficult staying afloat.
Yep.
And higher debt, borrowing increasing as many people struggle.
It's just people, they won't spend as much anymore. They're not going to go out. They're not going to buy anything. They don't want to buy anything because they're scared. They can't afford future living. If you've already not got much in the bank and then prices go up, would you want to go out and spend?
No.
If you think about it realistically. And then on top of that, fuel costs. You won't want to leave the house because it'll cost too much. Keeping yourself alive will be expensive. Just your day to day. So, groceries skyrocket, medicine skyrocket. So recession, economic downturn, these things on like a global scale, they all use fancy words. But if you funnel it down, even a simple Freddo, the inflation on that, and if you use that as a symbolism for other things, general things, then the average person will just struggle with life. And I think recession is a lot like the pandemic, because in the pandemic people weren't going out, they weren't spending, and I think we are in the eye of the storm when it comes to this economic downturn. Final thoughts.
If you in the chat, please comment your thoughts if you want. What I think though, I just think it's going to be proper bad for like everyone.
Okay. One thing that I'd also like people to comment is, did you like the live show compared to the edited show? Because we just winged this. Let us know if you prefer this format or the other format. We'll switch between the two depending on how we feel. But yeah, today we thought we'd switch up with current events. CrossGen Talk is about current events, social climate, and this was what my co-host came up with, his idea. So I'd like to thank him for his idea. Thank you for your comments. Please do comment and subscribe. My name is Yasser Hayat.
And I'm a co-host. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time, guys. See you again soon.